Hello, Dan Joss. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So, another edition of Money Talks.
Excellent.
And, it is getting late in the year.
Fourth quarter of the year.
Yeah, it's right there. So, some people like to look at January and say, wow, what should I have done in January? Or what did I not do last year that I really want to do this year? And in January, we'll do that. But because you're a financial planner and not a historian, we're going to talk about planning for the rest of the year.
That's right.
So what are some of the things that you think people should really maybe be looking at and thinking about in regards to finishing up the year strong?
Well, there's some things that you may consider doing before the end of the year, because once the end of the year comes, you can't go back and
Yeah, that's just hindsight.
There's always tax-related issues. I mean, we prepare a tax return in their first quarter, many people in their first quarter, but not everybody.
Not everybody.
And you say, okay, what did you do? And then always, I wish I would have, or I should have.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Realizing gains, or some people have to realize losses, and once they're done, you can't change it.
Yeah, they're done.
And there were some losses to be had in March of this year, but it's it's something to look at near the end of the year also, and so it's just a good thing to have on the list. Mutual funds typically pay out larger distributions in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
So you want to see what those are. Many funds project what they think they will be, so you can even plan for what may happen right near the end of the year. And if you can make other arrangements to deal with those, then that's a good thing to do also. Charitable contributions.
Right.
Once they're done for the year, you can't go back and make a charitable contribution last year like you can with IRA contributions.
Yes.
So charitable contributions, either decide to do them this year or put them off till next year.
Yeah.
Or do some of both.
And since we're early in the fourth quarter, it gives people the opportunity to look at different charitable organizations and figure out the ones that really have meaning to them and maybe leave a legacy for a loved one or something like that. Because we have a wealth of charitable organizations in our community.
And there's much greater need this year than normal.
Right. So get in touch with some of them, and that's something that you can do. You probably have a list of charitable organizations at your office.
I started at the Community Foundation here, and they've got a longer list than I do.
Right.
529 or other college savings contributions. It's another tax-related issue. You make your either contributions to the account in 2020 or, for those of us that have students in college, distributions from the 529 plans or the Coverdell savings accounts.
Right.
Or answering the question, I'm going to wait to do this next year. I mean, because we're planning ahead, we can decide 2020 or 2021.
Because you're planning ahead.
So that relates to all other expenses or income. Do we want to bring income into 2020 or leave it for next year? And then the same with expenses. Do we want to expense them this year or wait?
Right.
And this year in particular, as with all presidential election years, there may be tax consequences after the election, which could be good or bad. And so we'll know that in November, and that will become even more urgent.
We're optimistic that we'll know that in November.
That's right. That's right. Well, we'll know that hopefully before the end of the year.
We're optimistic. Yes, we are planning.
But there could be tax consequences
one
way or the other, and then that would give us the information we need to maybe bring income in or delay it, or bring expenses in or delay it till the next year.
Right.
Roth conversions. Now, that's kind of a tax-related and retirement-related issue.
Right.
Do we do Roth conversions or do we not do Roth conversions?
Okay, and to the person who's out there listening who says, what's a Roth conversion? You can explain that to them in depth when they call you.
That's right.
And talk to you.
And same with the Roth recharacterization.
Okay.
Annual gift exclusions. Now, that's not necessarily tax-related, but it's estate planning-related. We're limited to how much we can give to anybody else on an annual exclusion without affecting our estate tax.
Gotcha.
So this year it's $15,000 per recipient. So if you're a married couple, part of a married couple, then you could do $30,000 to each recipient. But that's an estate planning question that has to happen during the year, during the calendar year. You can't make up for it later.
No, you're going to have to pay for it later.
That's right.
Or somebody will.
That's right. Or how about just setting regular goals? So those are it. Near the end of the year, my wife and I plan next year's vacations.
That's good.
We canceled some this year, and so
replan them.
We've got replanning to do.
Right.
family and relationship goals, vacations, fitness goals,
Good.
all kinds of things that if we don't want to meet our goals this year, we can plan to do them next year
Okay.
in
yeah.
the fourth quarter this
So you
year.
can plan and hope.
Any questions?
If somebody wanted to call you and talk to you about this, what's the best phone number for them to call?
757-903-2127.
And when they call, they can call now and plan for the rest of the year.
That's right.
And start planning for next year and put some action steps into place. And just that initial consultation with you is free.
Free of charge.
Okay.
We've got a process in place. Bring new clients on board.
Right.
But because it's year end, my priority is my current clients.
Right.
And so call early.
Call early.
We'll schedule you in,
Okay.
but
Good.
we'll get you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan Joss. Money Talks is a weekly program presented for the listener's benefit and entertainment. It is provided at no cost to the listener, and the ideas, opinions, and comments are not to be construed as legal advice, tax advice, investment advice, or other advice specific to the listener. Listeners are encouraged to seek the advice of a licensed professional or other qualified party when dealing with financial, legal, tax, medical, investment, insurance, taxidermy, plumbing, electrical, carpentry, real estate, chiropractic, veterinary, oral hygiene, hot air ballooning, etc. We have given you some food for thought. Now, call a licensed professional such as Dan Joss at 757-903-2127. Thanks for listening, and remember, failing to plan is planning to fail.